welcome back to Metal Bent Reacts here on Metal Bent Chronicles. And today we're going to go all the way back to 1993 for this one. Yeah, 27 years ago. I had this on cassette back then. Man, ironically I bought this at a Christian bookstore, believe it or not. You know, being a metal fan, I also was into a lot of Christian thrash metal, so... And I'm not ashamed to admit it. If people don't like it, hey, whatever, move on. But I was also into, you know, I was always a big fan of thrash to begin with, so... Yeah, I listened to Christian thrash bands too, and I have no shame in admitting that. So the band and track we're going to be reacting to is the band Betrayal, from this album, The Passing. And the track we are going to be reacting to is called As I Turn Away. Here we go.
To
that was Betrayal and their track As I Turn Away from their sophomore album, The Passing from 1993, the follow-up to their debut album from 1991, Reminiscent by Death. Okay, now notably on this track, we have a couple guest appearances on here doing the lead vocals. We got Chris Scott from the band Precious Death, and we got Jimmy P. Brown II from Deliverance doing lead vocals on here, which is pretty interesting because notably, compared to the rest of the tracks on here, you know, the vocals are more melodic on this track. And in all honesty, this has actually been one of my favorite tracks off this album for a very long time. You know, there's other great tracks on here too, like Forest of Horrors, you know. Race of Hypocrisy is a pretty odd track. It's very thrashy, but there's like a in like the middle of it, there's a jazz breakdown, you know. You know, you got other tracks on here like Carnival of Madness that are killer. You know, Frantic. You know, another killer track to end the album. But this track, to me, is very freaking awesome. It's kind of weird too. The vocals on this track in spots really remind me of Mike Patton of Faith No More, Mr. Bungle. You know, the more melodic sections, you know, I want to say in like the breakdown parts of the track, you know. Yeah, I kind of hear a Mike Patton influence, you know, when it comes to the vocals. And definitely a more power metal type of vocal approach too, in spots too, you know, especially when Jimmy P. Brown comes in. So yeah, man, the vocals are phenomenal, you know. Now, their main vocalist was Chris Ackerman, and he had more of a, I want to say a Sacred Reich type of vocal style, you know what I mean? Excuse me, you know what I mean? Kind of like Phil Rind of Sacred Reich. That's kind of like how Chris Ackerman's vocal approach was. Yeah. If I were to compare it. Now, musically, these guys are very different. They don't really sound like your typical thrash metal band. You know, they definitely go off the walls and experiment, but it's still brutal. There's still plenty of heaviness, plenty of double bass, and a very dark atmosphere, especially on this album. And this track, you know, man, this track, like the riffs in this track are amazing. I can definitely hear a Rust in Peace type of style in the writing on this track. You know, it definitely has those rhythmic type of writings, the more, you know, the more complex song structure of a Rust in Peace. You know, especially with some of the rhythms and, you know, the drums. I can definitely hear the Rust in Peace influence on this track. Maybe some Merciful Fate, you know, but then you still have those real crunchy riffs too, you know, which just make the song sound absolutely killer. The solos are phenomenal on it. Yeah, I mean, to me, this is one of the most underrated thrash metal bands. They weren't around very long, you know. It's really a shame, you know. They did put out 2 other albums in the early 2000s, but it's only one of the main members that did all the music on it, and they're not very good. I'm just gonna put it at that. They're not very good. They're industrial metal, but the production is just so weak on them. Like, the songs definitely have potential on these albums, but yeah, there's no production behind it, pretty much. Anyways, excellent track. I definitely recommend you check out Betrayal. And that's my reaction. Keep it metal.